You know that moment you click pay online? What happens right after? Well, you're kicking off this massive, invisible engine. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the company that is that engine for some of the biggest brands out there. We're talking about a FinTech giant called Checkout.com. So here's their logo. And chances are, you've probably never seen it before, but that's kind of the whole point. This company is the engine quietly running in the background for brands you and I use literally every day. They are this absolutely critical but almost totally hidden piece of our digital lives.
So, really, have you ever stopped to think about it? It just feels so instant, right? Almost like magic. But what's really going on behind that one little click is this incredibly complex, super high-stakes process. It's what decides if your payment goes through or gets rejected. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
All right, so to really get a handle on that magic behind the pay button, we've got to start with the basics. We need to understand the fundamental role that a company like Checkout.com plays in, well, the entire world of online shopping.
So what Checkout.com is, it's what the industry calls a payment service provider, or a PSP. The best way to think about it, it's like the essential plumbing of the internet economy. I mean, imagine a business trying to connect all the different pipes themselves. You'd need a gateway for the card details, an acquirer to talk to the banks. It's a mess. A PSP like Checkout.com just bundles the whole shebang into one seamless, really powerful service.
Okay, so how does a company go from just an idea to a full-blown fintech giant? I mean, this stuff doesn't happen overnight, right? Their journey from a tiny startup to a global powerhouse is seriously a masterclass in how to grow a business the right way.
If we look at their journey, you can pinpoint the exact moments things really took off. It all kicked off back in 2009 as a company called Opus Payments. But the real rocket fuel was lit around 2019 when they started landing these huge enterprise clients. And check this out. In 2022, they made a super strategic move. They bought a company called Ubo. Why? Because that added a critical AI-powered identity verification layer to their platform. And that move, that was a huge piece of the puzzle that led to their incredible $12 billion valuation.
So yeah, a $12 billion valuation, that's obviously impressive. But how does the business actually make money? What's the model here? Well, it all boils down to what they call their platform PSP model.
At its heart, the core engine is just the payment itself. For every single transaction, they're handling these three key steps. First, there's the gateway. Think of it like a super secure digital credit card terminal. Then you've got acquiring. That's basically the messenger that talks to the big guys like Visa and MasterCard. And finally, there's processing. That's the part that gets the thumbs up and actually moves the money. Now, they take a tiny, tiny fee on each of these steps, which, when you're doing this billions of times, well, it adds up incredibly fast.
But look, just processing transactions, that's only the beginning. The real strategic value and where they make the bigger profits comes from all these powerful add-on services they've built on top of that core engine. We're talking about super smart fraud detection, the ability to issue cards, and this is huge, that AI-driven identity verification we mentioned. It's not just a payment pipe, it's a whole financial toolkit for businesses. Now, you can imagine, to offer all of this and to do it at a global scale, you need some serious technological firepower. So let's peek under the hood and look at the machine behind the money, the tech, the data, and the AI that makes this whole thing tick.
Okay, so their whole platform is built on something called a cloud-native API-first architecture. Now, what does that actually mean? In simple terms, it means it was born and raised in the internet age. It wasn't some old system they tried to patch up. And API-first, that means it's built like a set of Legos. It's incredibly flexible, which makes it super easy for these giant companies to just plug it right into their own systems. And when you actually look at their tech stack, you can see they are not messing around. These are all enterprise-grade tools. They're on Microsoft Azure for their cloud infrastructure that gives them scalability and security. They use Snowflake for really deep data analytics, and they use something called Kafka to stream all that data in real time. This is the heavy-duty stuff you absolutely need if you're going to process billions of dollars every day without a hitch.
Now, this quote from our source material really gets to the heart of it. It shows how they evolved strategically. See, they realized their business wasn't just about shuttling money from point A to point B. It was about building a whole platform based on trust. And for their clients, that is infinitely more valuable.
And this is exactly where AI enters the picture in a big way. Remember that Audible acquisition? That's what supercharged their identity verification service. They're now using AI-driven tech to confirm you are who you say you are online. And this isn't just some nice-to-have feature. No way! It's an absolutely critical layer of trust and security that basically every major online business has to have. All right, so we get the what and the how. But now let's try to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this operation, because honestly, the numbers here are just mind-boggling. First up, let's talk reach. They process payments in over 145 different currencies. Think about that. This is not some regional player we're talking about. This is a truly global financial platform. And it's not just about currencies. That is matched by their actual presence on the ground. They operate in 55 countries around the world, which means they have to navigate all the complex local rules and regulations in every single one of them. But this next one, this is the stat that really puts it all into perspective. Are you ready for this? They process over $1 billion every single day. Just try to picture that. The amount of global commerce just flowing through their systems. It's absolutely staggering.
So who's trusting them with that kind of volume? Oh, just some of the biggest names in the game. We're talking Sony, Shein, Uber Eats, Patreon, eBay, Klarna. The list just goes on and on. These are digital giants, and for them, a failed payment isn't an option. They just can't afford it.
So at the end of the day, the crucial takeaway is this. Checkout.com wins over these massive clients because they offer two things better than almost anyone else: huge global scale combined with really finely tuned performance. They help big businesses say yes to more payments more securely from pretty much anywhere in the world.
And that kind of leaves us with one last big question to think about. As our digital world gets more and more interconnected, more complex, the need for a financial infrastructure that you can actually trust is only going to grow. So the real question isn't just about who can move the money the fastest, it's about who we're going to trust to build the very foundation of what commerce looks like tomorrow.